Good morning, and welcome to Cover 3. I'm your host today, Shay Omanera, and with me on the side is Mike and James Mitchell. Guys, how you doing today?
Doing good. Doing real good. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. I mean, could you picture a better autumn morning? There's barely a cloud in the sky, hardly any wind. It's about low 50s out there. It'll warm up by the afternoon comes around, but oh my goodness, is it beautiful outside.
And from our resident meteorologist, we head over to Mike Rosillo. You're right, James. It's an absolutely beautiful morning. Great to be with you guys. The past few weeks we've had, kind of overcast, and it's like, ugh. Yeah. But today it's just absolutely wonderful out. So it's kind of cold. The seasons are finally turning the corner, but with Cover 3, kind of chill on in on a Wednesday morning. We'll get you warmed up and start your day off. Yeah,
you got the autumn leaves falling. It's a beautiful time of year, really, especially on this beautiful campus we call St. John's University.
How do you like the daylight savings, though? I'm not feeling it.
No, you don't like the extra hour?
No, when it's 5, it's already dark.
Oh yeah, I hate that. Yeah. But I mean, of course we have to wake up early today, so it was nice to rise with the rising sun this morning.
It's originally for farmers, right? It was like a technique to help extend the days for farmers where they'd wake up, get that extra hour of sunlight, I think.
I heard that theory too.
I think I heard that theory, but little early morning trivia question: who thought of the concept of daylight savings time?
Oh, was it like Thomas Jefferson or something like that?
Close, no.
John Adams?
No.
Samuel Adams?
Nope.
I just named it.
I have no idea.
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
Yes. So there's your early morning.
You could have used that as your tweet fun fact.
Yeah, you could have.
I could have, but I didn't find it on Twitter. Would that count? I mean,
no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Well done.
Well, our facts for today is St. John's basketball was this weekend, and it was also on Monday too. But let's talk about St. John's basketball.
You got it, Shay. We just had the games, 2 preseason games. We played San Francisco State in the first one, Humboldt State in the second, both at Carnesec Arena, and we really got to feel out this team and see what they were about. And Shay, I know you were discussing it before. We mentioned the depth that kind of comes with this roster, and we'll get all of our takes on and stuff like that. But I finally thought that it was good to see Steve Lavin finally have a rotation, some depth to go to. I think field goal percentage was a real concern in the paint in the first game. And also, too, kind of players, Shay, you were saying this, they kind of occupy the same space.
Yeah.
And you heard Jakar Sampson say something specifically that he worked into the game. I thought there were a lot of positive signs, as we'll kind of dive into each and every one of them.
Yeah, we'll dive into each and every one of them, but let's start with the San Francisco State game, since that was the first game of last Saturday.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, and I just like to say that my first game coming this season got courtside seats. Lucky one, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I was just sitting in the stands with me and my friend. We were just sitting in the stands, and then all of a sudden they asked me, "Do you want upgraded seats?" I was like, "Sure."
They must listen to the show.
Yeah, they must. They must have listened to the show. So they gave me and my friend some upgraded seats. They gave us some XL Metro PCS shirts, a little oversized. Didn't really care for it, to be honest, but yeah, a little baggy. It felt like something I would have wore like back in the 2000s when I used to wear 5X shirts. But we got escorted by cheerleaders, walked to our designated seats. They said we were going to get free stuff, though.
Like what?
I guess the free stuff was the free shirt, because they didn't give us anything else.
Like an Under Armour bundle bag or something like that?
I thought it was going to be that. Hey, I thought we were going to shoot that halftime court shots too, or something, or
I don't know,
or dress up or something. Dress up in those big shoes like what the little kids be doing. I thought we were going to do at least something, but
show you a good time.
Yeah, but we enjoyed the game. Just being right in the court, it just shows you the intensity, like how hard these players are playing.
True.
Yeah, Mike, you were the timeout coordinator, weren't you?
Oh, what a debacle that was.
I don't know, but I mean, I was at that first game.
Yeah,
I didn't attend the second game.
Yeah, for game 1, I was the timeout coordinator, and that was extremely interesting because you get to see that angle, kind of the workflow of the whole entire scores table, which is very organized. And I give the men and women who do that and take the time out of their weekend to do that in addition to their jobs real credit.
No,
because it's definitely a passion, and I love it. I think it's really cool they got to do that. But I had a technical difficulty on my end, so I felt bad. The dilemma was I was holding up the game because I couldn't get confirmation from, superior or something like that to tell the refs, like, hey, guys, go play the game. And that's to start the season. So I'm like, oh. But it's kind of like that rookie who joins the big leagues and he's out there on the field for his first couple outs. Trouble's going to find him.
Yeah, of course.
Something bad's going to happen that's going to, scorn him for his whole entire big league career, and that will serve as the watermark of preparation and stuff like that. So from that perspective, being on the floor, I thought was real cool. I second with Shea. Yeah. There's a lot going on, a lot of communication, and that's because there's so many new pieces down there. And also, too, this is going to be a very fast and athletic team to watch.
Very, very. But what about you, Mike? You were working event staff. All of us, we had some part of role in
James
this.
had that.
Yeah.
James got the job.
James.
I was event staff the first game, and I'm going to be doing that all throughout the season here at Carnesecca. Maybe at MSG. I'm not really sure how that works. But I was event staff. I was behind the student section. I was behind Lavenwood, which was really cool.
Yeah, you got that good section.
Yeah, you could, with my job, you can, communicate with the fans. Of course, I got the students. A friend of mine, she was working over in section 7 where, the VIP sit. That's where Lou Carnesecca sits and things like that. So
celebrity status.
Yeah, so she was escorting him down to his seats and things like that. But so I was behind one of the baskets, and so I was able to see the teams on offense and defense pretty up close and personal. And there was some good in that game and there was some bad in that game, but we'll get right into that.
Yeah, well, let's get right into it. First, we'll talk about the good in that game. Rashid Jordan, his first game, he only scored 16 points. I'm pretty sure but he was something
only 16?
else.
That's pretty solid anyway.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. The way he was driving in the basket, taking the San Francisco State defense at will. He was the designated ball handler. He just looked like an NBA caliber talent, like someone that can go in the NBA down the line. That's what he came across to me first. But Orlando Sanchez too. On offense, he was promising, and God's gift. He had his moments in the first game. He really exploded the second game, but in his first game he had his moments. Mind you, this is the first game he's playing since the year before when I was a freshman.
Yeah, he was a redshirt. Yeah, he was redshirted.
Yeah, he was a redshirt.
Yep.
D'Angelo Harrison, he got 30 points, but for a Division II team, giving up 80, I think that is a little problematic. Yeah, it's a little worrying.
Well, I think that comes into a fact that, Chris Obekpa was suspended the past 2 games along with tip-off, so I think you could really see how much they missed him, especially in that first game in the paint, especially in the second half, because it seemed like in the second half San Francisco State was scoring so much in the paint, and they just kept up with St. John's. I mean, St. John's was down by 10 at one point with 7 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, but even though Obekpa's not playing, it's still a Division II team.
Yeah, it is.
We have Division I caliber talent. We shouldn't be giving up 80 points to Division II teams. The offense was good, but every time they scored, it's after they scored, they give one right back.
Yeah.
And you see Orlando Sanchez, he was dribbling the ball. He was running the offense pretty well for a 6'8" big man. That's pretty promising. But he was making his passes were a little bit risky, a little bit overboard. It was over dribbling a little bit too much. And then after he scored, he doesn't get back fast enough on defense, which gives the San Francisco State scored. And I can't remember his name right now in San Francisco State, but he was number 13. He came out to play.
That was Nefi Perdomo.
Nefi Perdomo.
Yeah, Nefi Perdomo.
He had 29 points, right?
23. 23 total.
And God's get the chew going off in game 2. I thought that was just stellar. You could definitely see that he was motivated. He was solid from the line, which you don't see out of a big man too often. He was able to execute. I thought that was really big for a guy that I think a lot of people wrote him off, and he may just be occupying a roster spot. So we can always look to that as kind of a reference in the body of work that, hey, Gift can give you some quality minutes. I don't think that he's going to perform like that every night. This is 2 years ago we saw him perform like this in the preseason too. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, God's Gift Achua, next best thing since sliced bread. I don't think that's what you're going to get out of Gift. But he'll give you quality minutes, and I think he should definitely be looked at as a guy like, hey, you should put him in rotation.
Yeah, God's Gift, he has a lot of strength. He hustles the ball real well. But, yeah, if God's Gift goes against someone of our size, then it doesn't really he doesn't really have the same type of production. But against lower caliber competition, he performs well. But as we mentioned with Rasheed Jordan being in the lineup and operating the way he does, it kind of got Jakar Sampson out of the loop. He wasn't able to get in the rhythm when D'Angelo Harrison went down. Jakar Sampson, he was the main ball handler. He was the focal point of offense. He was driving in. He was doing everything Rasheed Jordan was doing. But with Rasheed Jordan playing the way he was playing, it got Jakar Sampson. He had to play in the post. He tried to slide out to the corner three. It wasn't working for him. In the end, he didn't do too well and only got, as I see here, how much you got? How much you got, guys?
Jamal Branch?
Jakar Sampson.
Oh, Jakar Sampson in the first game?
Yeah.
I see only 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. This also, again, this was the first. We're talking about the first game, the first exhibition game. So, of course, there could be some cobwebs going on, things like that. But but the thing was, like I said, they were down by 10 with 7 minutes left. So it was good to see. This is like the final plus I saw. It was good to see them come back. D'Angelo Harrison, he had a game. He had 29 points. 10 of 12 from free throws. He had 8 of 15 in the field. So he had a great game, and he really carried this team to victory. He finished.
And he finished in a clutch spot, too, when they needed him most. You think where D'Angelo had been left from last season with the suspension, it was good to see him in a jersey again, first and foremost. And when I saw him on the floor, I wasn't thinking, oh, it's good to see D'Angelo back. I was like, my mind had lifted from that place and said, this is a changed guy for all intents and purposes. And he came out and showed it in game one that he can at least finish. The opponent may not be the caliber that you're going to play later on down the road.
Right.
And the defensive effort has to be better. But you at least saw that he can take on that leadership role where he's going to be an option. I think a couple times last year, midway through the season, we saw situations where he would lose the handle on the ball in a big spot, the final maybe 2 possessions of the game.
Yeah.
But he executed. And I think that's something to take away from the game, too, on top of Rasheed Jordan's performance. You look at Jakar Sampson. Shay, you talked to Jakar, and he said he wanted to expand kind of his range game.
Yeah.
Not only be a low-post player, kind of play more of what he probably will play at the NBA level, a 3-spot, because you got to be able to shoot as well as have creativity under the basket.
Yeah,
and he's
true.
been working out that. When in the shoot-around, he was shooting a lot of balls from 3 off the wing.
Yeah.
So that's going to expand, too. But a lot of these games, you get your sea legs underneath you, so it's going to take some time. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, they did have the European trip. That was in August, so that was a few months ago. They haven't really had that much competition since then. So, it's nice to get back into the flow of things. This is kind of like a spring training for them. So it was good to see them actually, come back and get the W.